And we were ready for our main event. Jay White and Dax. So again, how many weeks has it been that if it wasn't for Gin and Juice or FTR or Punk, or actually I'll put the Gun Boys in there too, they wouldn't have had a main event. But they've had some of the best main events on wrestling television lately. But how long before that comes to an end too, now that we're hearing the brand split will be unsplit and joined back together. And what Tony has joined together, let no punk rend asunder.
I wonder if anyone's going to have a problem with that who didn't expect to work a second day. No matter what side you're on, if you expected to only work Wednesdays, and now it's like, well, we fired that guy you had a problem with. We kind of expect you to show up on Saturdays now,
well,
too.
I've got no problem for the money these guys are making with people being asked to work 2 days a fucking week, but I wonder if any of the people that thought they were over on Saturday to be serious and get a push and get over away from all the foolishness and the children will be upset that they're going back to a clown show format instead of wrestling.
Look, it's over. Whatever Collision was going to be, and it was for most of each episode, that's, I think, done now. Yeah. It's now just going to be more Dynamite.
Well, anyway, speaking of Dynamite, this match was good. It was snug. It was crisp. They both can work. I like Jay White's work a lot better than his promos. To be honest, I think Juice ought to be the stick man for that team. But they went through a couple of breaks. They kept it interesting. They had the people interested. They had, the false finishes, the back and forth, blah, blah, blah. And finally, with the heels distracting, Jay White hit his finish on Dax on the floor and then rolled him in, but Dax got a jackknife for a 2 count. And then suddenly Jay White hit his finish again and got a 3 count. But then the heels jumped Cash and the Buckaroos came out for the save and were booed out of the arena for saving the baby faces. And that was, unfortunately, our favorite wrestling show, or what used to be our favorite wrestling show of the week, ladies and gentlemen.
And like you said, I believe it was on the special edition, or maybe it was earlier. It must have been on the special edition. After they went off the air, the Bucks took a victory lap in the ring in front of a half-empty house.
Yes, that was, someone retweeted that. Who was it? I believe it was Vince McMahon's thoughts. But somebody said this is classic way for them to end Punk's tenure in the company by taking a victory lap in the ring in an empty arena in front of a bunch of people who booed him out of the building. So that was that. That was Collision. We collided with that. What in the world is going on in your world this week, young Brian?
Look, I'm so tired and we have so much more to talk about. We've watched so much shit the last few days. Go through everything on Twitter at Superpodcast, Facebook.com/Arcadian Vanguard, the wrestling news. With all this shit happening, how do you keep up with, I can't even talk! How do you keep up with all of it? Without opinion and conjecture. You do it with the wrestling news, thewrestlingnews.com. Look for Arcadian Vanguard's The Wrestling News. Look for all the other shows. And, of course, the 605 Super Podcast. The Mothership! 605 Pod. Hey. 605pod.com or go through the archive today. Also, actually, I do want to make mention, Shut Up and Wrestle with Brian Solomon this week. He goes through his archives, an interview with Terry Funk that he conducted a few years ago.
And I'm trying to, while you were saying that, I was trying to find my notes